Good morning. Good evening. And welcome to the Sandbox Game GMAE stream, where I have to download a new version of this game client that just released yesterday. If you haven't already, download the version 0.7.6 update of the Sandbox Game Maker and game client that are out now. These should fix the issues that we've all been talking about in the last couple of days since the release of 0.7.5. We've got that fixed for you right now. As I totally overlooked that. I've been running 0.7.5 the last couple of days. It was running for me as expected, so I didn't have to make any changes, any updates, but nonetheless, new update out today, and the Rusty Cliff experience as well releasing today. So, if you're interested, go check them out. Sandbox.game. What's up, Michael Mo? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for all of you watching live today. It is 9:15 a.m. my local time, but it may be after midnight where you are if you're joining us in the Asia Pacific region. Good morning to you. If you're joining in India, good evening. If you are joining in Africa or the EU zone or the UK, because you guys left a little while ago. I feel like I want to tease the UK about that forever. Good evening to you. Good morning to those of you joining us in the west coast of North America and the central area of North America. Maybe some Central America. I mean, Good afternoon to those of you joining us in South America and the East Coast, USA. Woo! Your mic's not on? Are you not real? He's not real. Oh, well, let's fix that. See now? How about now? Nope.
I'm not real.
I'm just going to do this right there. We're just going to go individual audio channels. You're good to go now. Chat.
Am I good now?
Usually I try to keep it simple. You know what I mean? Try to keep it simple. Put us all on one audio channel where I control the audio. What's happening? A bunch of sliders. Today it was like, nah. Because Joe had a Windows
but my
update.
mic is scuffed. Oh no.
Wait, what's wrong?
It sounds. Oh, Joe, you sound like you're underwater.
Joe sounds under. See, everything's broken, chat.
We'll do it live, chat. We'll do it live.
I know what's wrong.
I got my Toon Squad on today, as chat's pointing out.
I know exactly what's going on. It's probably you're hearing the mic inside my camera. Had a Windows update, you know what I mean? Like I'm ready to go live. I'm ready to go. I'm hitting it up. I'm pushing the buttons, and then it's like, no, you can't. You can't do that. Here's a Windows update. Restart your computer. Restart it again. Come back. Everything's gonna be busted. I'm gonna click over here. I got personal mix. Doesn't go out to that. Go out to this. I don't even know, bro. This is wild. Is it still sound? Does it really sound bad right
now? Apparently, yeah. You sound like you're swimming.
I'm swimming. This is the mic. I don't know what I did. I broke it, Chad.
We broke it. They could hear you just fine before, and then you got me working, and then all of a sudden you sound like you're underwater.
All right. Have a nice.
It sounds like you're muffled. Yeah, it was right. It went out right as soon as you had me fixed.
Yeah, now they're gonna probably hear you twice. There's gonna be a slight echo in Conrad. Because yeah, dude, this is wild. I broke it all. I broke it all, chat. I'm breaking it all.
Well, chat. I got a special permissions from Lululand to hand out some cupids from them, and we did one last Friday when we had some technical issues getting back onto stream, and Love, I believe their name is Lula Love 9 was the winner of that Cupid, but I'm going to pass out one more form here inside the chat, and this is going to be for another Cupid chance. This is going to be the asset that you could find in the Lululand experience. So it'll be a lot of fun. And also, Joe, I believe, is going to be giving away some other things later on in the stream as well. As long as everything goes perfect, I won't be able to stay the entire stream as I finally have a doctor's appointment
Got a
this
specialist,
morning.
somebody to work with you. Yeah, it's cool.
I get to start. I get to start with
Well,
not even get to see the specialist.
I'm just happy
I
to
just
see
get
your
to-
face, Conrad. I'm sure the chat would
I'm
agree.
I hate being away from these streams. I mean, you know, I'm a bit of a workaholic in the weirdest ways, and I hate being not a part of. So I'm really glad to be alongside you here again, Joe, and to be able to read the chat for you and help you out.
I'm gonna just
You know,
be running into this rusty cliff, be running up that road. You know what I mean?
you are climbing up that hill over here.
Yeah. Here we go. Can I? Where's this one? Oh no. See, this is it. This is why you gotta play these experiences once through, you know, in a relatively recent timeline, so you can remember where stuff is.
Right.
I'm using my /respawn trick for those of you who are trying to figure out how the heck did Joe do that so quick. Oh my goodness!
You did that really fast.
Do, 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 do.
Are you just pressing up in chat or something? What's going on there?
Pressing enter first to open up the chat box, and then I'm going to press up, and then press enter again. Okay, I shouldn't have done that there. I should be up here.
Oh, look at that.
No, can I not do this anymore?
And of course, chat, if you have any questions related to the Sandbox game,
All right.
or generally with anything TSB, you can always try and help out. Or if you have any questions about crypto, then we can try and also answer those questions as well to the best of our abilities. More so Joe than I.
Yeah, Joe's a little nerd for that. So I gotta.
Joe definitely has the smarts.
This Friday, I got an invite from, and we'll be joining the Star Atlas team that hosts a weekly Future of Web3 Gaming panel.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we'll be
super excited
going.
about that.
We'll be going 30 minutes early on this show on Friday, so that we can close out the show at the right as that experience launches. That was a fairly good time, but clearly I could do that much better with those 4 locations. So if you're wondering a quick way to run through the Rusty Cliff, luckily the Rusty Cliff is one of those experiences that's been here, I think, in every alpha. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I believe it's been here since 1. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this experience has changed a little bit, but not much, almost not at all between the last 2 seasons. Fun fact about the Rusty Cliff in particular. This experience was one of the first internal tested experiences, and that little pirate ship that's up there used to be just floating in the middle of nowhere, essentially, with very difficult to access space. So it was kind of where that panel of like black with a lot of little blue squares in it was sitting, right? And there were just 2 robots that would float out there, and you could jump from one robot to another if you wanted to get onto that pirate ship. But if you did successfully, that pirate ship used to have a teleporter that would take you from one land to another, and when you spawn in the other land, it was just a single like island on a land that was just full of ducks, the little rubber duckies that you might see as secrets around the Sandbox game. It was full of these ducks, and the ducks were doing all kinds of crazy things. There was like, Trojan ducks, attacking each other with spears and shields and stuff, and just like it was wild. There was all kinds of stuff.
It was pretty crazy.
There's a lot of fun.
I missed out on all those screenshots because I
Right.
couldn't ever get back up to it. And Hodel Hill says that's why it's rusty, because it's so old.
Wow. Very good.
But otherwise, Stillnef WOT says they're having troubles loading up the missing parts chapter 1. So maybe we'll try and get into that one this morning as well at some point, see if that one's having troubles. And then Dabmore says, on the King of the Hill quest from yesterday, one of the ice platforms is just too high. I had to coyote jump past it, barely could make it to the next platform. But before that update, the jump was no problem.
Sure.
So it seems like we're still experiencing some rocky things with jumping, but I think today's update is good to go. So let's see.
Yeah,
how
and
it's doing.
so let's talk about what changed mechanically with the jumps, right? So the old version of the client before it got weird and glitchy, when you walk, you can't have this sort of like faith fall. You see how I can kind of jump after I'm already off the edge of the ground here?
Yeah.
So in the 0.7.4 and 5 updates, this wasn't there because it was taken off.
Right.
So when they're talking about a coyote jump, I think that's what they're referencing, is that like Wile E. Coyote, Looney Tunes-ish kind of jump where you're like paused in midair for a second. And so you can kind of do that to extend the length of your jump, but obviously not too long, just a little bit, and leverage some of that like server to you timer, I think, to make that happen. I think that's why it happens. I'm not totally sure on a technical level why that happens, but I remember when we were testing early, well, what was that experience we were testing, Conrad? The one with the lava.
It was
puzzle.
Quest of Triloga.
Yeah, Quest of Triloga. Yeah, we were testing that. I remember on that when this update first came out. We had trouble with it for a little while, but it's really just a change in mechanics that they ended up reverting. But as part of that reversion, with the new mechanics of being able to walk up small singular objects like that one. Oh, I just fell to my infinite demise. Excuse me. Yeah, it became, it added some undue lag and things like that. So, oh, I want to climb.
Okay.
All right. Isan Mortasavi, 100%, as Joe. Of course, the Sandbox game probably couldn't speak to this directly, but I will do so as many times as is necessary. Support the Iranian people and their strife that's going on right now.
100% for me as well. I definitely am very aware of what's happening. I've been kind of glued to my phone this week, being able to be, just being sick. So I'm caught up on the news, and my heart definitely goes out.
Yeah, it's really a shame that, like, the access to internet is being restricted and things like that, just purely as like a silencing measure. I think that, historically speaking, any nation or people's group that wants to silence its people, not great. But,
Yeah, it's a rough time.
Yeah.
Rough time indeed. There will definitely be more. There's going to be more giveaways today. Joe, I believe you're doing an Alpha Pass and a Wizzy Purple Hat.
I will, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to do my random generated roll here for the Lululand Cupid giveaway that I put out. Don't worry, guys, you didn't miss out on everything. And of course, if there are some people wondering if they got lucky and won 2 different Alpha Passes, 2 different giveaways, what would happen?
A duck. It's a duck. It's still up there.
You got a duck here.
It's still up there. It's an homage.
You can.
So the portal.
I do believe, Joe, that you can only do the victory on the one Alpha Pass, right? As far
that's
as
correct.
our streams
so yeah, well, all of the Alpha Passes that are distributed have the same singular point of contact at the end of the day. So whether it's one from me, it's one from the raffle, it's one from another user, or like not a user, but well, maybe a user if you're looking at another streamer, or a partner like Game Experience that comes out if they do a giveaway where they have a raffle or something like that.
Right.
All of those go back to the same singular point of contact when they will put you on an approval list. So if you're already on that approval list, you can't be on it again. And then if you, however, if you went out and bought one on secondary that was part of the verified collection of the Sandbox assets, and you did happen to win one, well, you won't get disqualified from the win because you won't yet be on the what is called in the industry a whitelist or an approval list. So if you're not on that list from that one individual who is the central point of contact for all of us to put our stuff back to, then you could still win it, even if you already bought one. But if you won one, you can't get a second. Oops. I fell all the way down. I picked up the quest for the speed run and fell all the way to the ground. And that.
Oh, we got a
Yes, sir.
Joe. We got a question from Theta.
Okay.
Thank you so much to Jazzwolf for getting that out to us as
Yay.
as Theta's working again, but unfortunately our restream chat does not feed into that. They say over on Theta, Bujican asks, can you tell me why at the side of the Bitski for the login in Sandbox there is written a free Season 3 airdrop? I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah. So it depends. That it's unlikely that, quite frankly, that is. I should say, be cautious to be sure that that's actually our website, and that you haven't misclicked or mistyped or done something like that. There was an airdrop, but you wouldn't have to click claim or do anything like that to get it. Oh, darn it. I fell again. This is so much easier when you're not talking, you know what I mean? No, but we did get, if you were part of Alpha Season 2 and you got to level 5 in Alpha Season 2, then you did get an airdrop. You got a chest piece that is a piece of armor you can use inside any combat-based experience in the Sandbox game. That is an NFT. That would be on the claim section, however, at sandbox.game. So
right, you're going to be looking for the claims tab. It should be, if you were to go, let me just double check my progress here for everybody. And also, if you're trying to give Joe advice inside the chat there,
there's no
Rodinger, do my best to pronounce your name there over on Twitch. My apologies. It's delayed, so he's going to get your news about how to do it just a little bit after.
Best advice would be to tell me to get good, Joe.
Yeah, you just tell Joe to get good, and then hopefully he does in time. But if you do go underneath your settings, right next to inventory should be a claims tab. You should be able to check your claims from there and gather anything that you can.
Chat. I couldn't have fallen further.
It's okay, we believe in you.
I couldn't have fallen further. Don't believe. Give up all hope. /respawn.
Joe tears taste so good, says Donnie.
It's so bad. It was so bad. Did you see that? It was like pretty close. Nah.
Everybody die inside on that one.
For sure.
XAE wants to know if will there be a Snoop season? I think they're referencing the Snoop Pass, I believe.
I would say is that you should check the Doggies official Discord possibly for that, but I'm guessing that they probably couldn't talk about it yet because they may or may not be able to acknowledge its existence at all. If it does exist, they're going to be the experts on that. However, we can say that some partners may have seasons in the future. That is a feature that we have been building with intent, so that the Sandbox Game Alphas are not the only seasons of content.
Right.
Not sure
that's going to be a really big thing. It's going to be for. Oh my goodness!
I could have cheated that. I could have cheated that whole thing. That's it. That could have been done with a coyote jump right there.
The Kakashi says, "Hey Conrad, can you tell Joe that he needs to pass through the finish line to finish that quest? He keeps jumping down for some reason."
No, I don't think I will. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go the other way for sure. I'm going to go down and around. That's the real secret. Like how I climbed that ladder just there. That didn't make any sense.
Right. That was interesting.
Hacker man, you know.
And Zolinar Blake also wants to know about missing parts to see if it's currently bugged this morning.
Okay.
We're going to have to check that out as well.
Oh,
dang it.
I'm just trying to do it fast instead of doing it right, you know, which that's the whole point, I guess, of speedrun stuff is you want to try to do it fast and you want to try to be precise at the same time, but just keep practice. First try, you know what I mean? First try, no big deal.
A coyote jump, or the coyote time, is that little bit of leeway. Hero, protagonist, is asking about that. Formerly Soy Boy. But the coyote time is going to be that little leeway where your avatar is off. They're like a frame off of where they're supposed to be. So they normally would be falling. But you have that extra frame, that extra second to where you can hit that jump button and catch a little bit of extra air.
Yeah, what it refers to is that old school cartoon coyote, Wile E. Coyote, and
Right.
their ability to like run off of a cliff, and before it like would fall, it would grab like the sign and it'd be like help, and then it
Right.
Yeah.
And XAE, yes, if you could just put question before your question itself, I will be able to catch it, or Joe will be able to the best of our abilities. There is no need to repeat it unless you see that we've very clearly passed by it on accident. But they're asking if there's going to be 100% completion time this time around, or 100% completion reward this time around. And I can't say for sure, but there is speculation, of course, as we did have one in the last season.
Yeah, I think it does cause some confusion, but I would venture a guess to say we probably won't have 100% completion time in this.
Ooh.
And the reason why I say that is that we have allocated to the, oh my gosh, I hit that random torch. We allocated a significant amount of funds to this new leaderboard feature, which is we're testing and working with, right?
Okay, so that was kind of the replacement there then.
I think so. I can't confirm that because, quite frankly, last season we also never started the season with the intention to even do that, right? We just went like halfway through. Seb was like, everybody who gets 100%, give them this much sand. Here's a pool to give them to, and we'll figure out how much that means for each individual person afterward. And that's how that process worked. It was literally just people in a room going like, I think we'll give something to everybody who does 100%. But that doesn't mean that it happens again necessarily. It was purely just like, thanks for being here sort of reward last season. And with the leaderboards now, I would think that probably won't be the case because mostly from what I've seen, if you've got all the quests done, you pretty much made it into the top 10,000 and you've got the same kind of reward.
As Soyboy points out, there's technically 100% completion reward because you'll get in the top 10,000.
I did it again. Chat, I did it again. Two things. First,
did it again.
First, I got all excited to get on that race. I didn't talk to the dude to pick up the quest.
You were going up that hill.
I didn't pick up the quest twice.
You were doing the whole thing and you just didn't get it.
Yep.
Yeah, even Jazzwolf's like, you didn't even talk to the parkour person.
Yep.
What's going on?
Gotta get that parkour.
What do you got?
I don't know. I don't know, Conrad. I woke up. My whole PC was like, nah, dude, we're not doing this today.
I know. You woke up and your PC chose violence.
It did. And then now I'm off my game. My microphone was all weird. Your microphone was all weird. Everything was all weird. We're having a good time. Chilling.
We're doing it live.
We are. All right. Chat, I promise. I'll talk to the guy this time. Assuming I don't fall off the cliff. Assuming I don't fall off the rusty cliff. Oh.
And Rodengier, hopefully I'm saying their name right again, over on Twitch, says they have a question about that may have been asked before, but they haven't seen anything on this one. They're concerned about the 7.5 bug that happened and about the scores that may possibly be removed, as they saw there's a whole bunch of streamers that are climbing up the towers in 1 second and whatnot. So they're having some concerns with the leaderboard.
Sure. Okay. So a couple things. First, and I went over this kind of yesterday quite a lot, but I think I'm going to stop doing the speed run so that I can explain this in a way that actually makes sense and not just say a bunch of times.
Concentrate a little bit.
First thing, scores, the high scores list itself, right? The 1.5 million sand is total allocated to the high scores list, is allocated as a prize fund, and is just like the rest of the client and the other tools, an alpha project. Meaning that at the end of the day, whatever happens with the 1.5 million sand, as long as it's allocated to the community itself, it's a learning experience for us and everyone else, right? As we build together, as we get your feedback to make that process better. So, regardless of what times, as long as all attempts were legitimate attempts, and by legitimate, I mean done so inside the game client without external tools or exploits, then those times may be considered legitimate. However, we also, yes, do have the opportunity to potentially reset times. So there's two primary schools of thought, right? One is, do we punish the people who are helping us make these tools and this platform better? Because those are the people who are getting those times that seem illegitimate. Secondly, do we punish the people who got there first, who were here every day helping us break these tools to make them better? And then third, if we do, are we going to alienate that entire player base and they never come back, right? So as users who haven't found those exploits, you, of course, are still valued. In the way that you are valued is that we reward people who have, let's say you were here for Alpha Season 2. You've got yourself an Alpha Shield. You have that entire track of rewards unlocked for you. If you have any of the avatars that are in the ecosystem or outside of the ecosystem on the approved list, you have that reward track for you. If you've got lands, you've got a reward track just for you. Or if you are just like everybody who was in Alpha Season 2, if you win an Alpha Season Pass, like the one we're going to give away on this show, then you've got a reward track for you there as well. Separately from those things, if those things seem out of scope, if you don't think that you can get those, we're going to continue to run contests and competitions with the tools that we have that are more refined, like the VoxEdit asset creation contest. We've got those going on all the time. We've got the Game Maker creation contest where you can use the Game Maker software that we have to build experiences that don't have those sorts of exploitable features and functions, right? So if you are, a creator and you're thinking to yourself like, well, I know how to jump up and around that invisible wall, right? You could be building best practice for everyone in the metaverse, right? You could be the person who is designing these things with that perfectionist mindset, right? So there's a lot of different tracks in which you can earn, and quite honestly, the VoxEdit asset creation contests and the Game Maker creation contests have larger prize pools in terms of individuals because your competition is lesser, right? I mean, we know that getting all the quests done, right, you're right now roughly around the top 10,000 players. There's 4 million some registered players, but in terms of creators, not as many. And more importantly, I would say, than even those individual contests is when you do know the tools, when you know VoxEdit, when you know the Game Maker, you can take those tools and you can translate those to jobs, professions. You can make video games for a living because there are lots and lots of studios that are hiring. So the things that we have kind of under wraps, but we are still actively developing, right? The Game Maker software, the VoxEdit software, those are more refined because they've been here longer. However, the leaderboard is new. It's new for this season, and due to the nature of the alpha, of course, there's going to be little hitches, little things, right, that we are going to see, you're going to see, of course, you're going to give your feedback, and those will be changed in the next season. Undoubtedly, something about the leaderboard will be changed, just like something was changed about this Rusty Cliff experience, and things were changed about the other experiences that you've been playing all season long. I know the artifact experience, last season, it got a lot of downvotes from the community, right? You guys were not happy with it. It came out this season and nobody's talking about it because they like it.
Right. Then that kind of goes along with what formerly Soyboy over on YouTube is asking about trying to adjust every realm or experience to make it more playable on lower end PCs. We're still trying to adjust things and to make it to where the game is more accessible, and we're trying to do quality of life stuff to make it to where your suggestions are actually put in. But I do, unfortunately, Joseph,
I was about to
have
say.
to go. It is about my time.
It's got his appointment. Yes. Thank you for being here, Conrad.
I thank you for having me, Joseph. I love being on the show, and congratulations to Out of Space on winning the Lulu Land Cupid NFT. We do, in fact, have a winner for that. And stick around, guys, as Joseph is going to be giving away 2 more NFTs, one of them being an Alpha Pass, I do believe.
Yes, sir.
And I will catch you all, hopefully, on the next one. I love you, Sand Fam. Stay sandy out there.
Stay sandy. All right. Okay. Conrad is clear, with the exception of the over here. But I'm gonna go ahead and mute you on Discord just to make sure no weird reverberations, things like that. Thank you for hanging out with me, friend. Chat. Let's see if I can actually do this. Can I do this race? I'm gonna try to do it the fast way. Probably gonna fall to my infinite demise, right? But there we go. Did a little coyote jump, right? That's just the generic term the community has come up with here. But I jumped after I ran off the cliff there. I was able to cut down quite a bit of running. See all that running over there and all that, like that whole loop-de-loop. And now am not suffering that whole loop-de-loop. And I guess to be clear, it's fun. But the I actually really like this particular race maze. But the I always miss that jump. But the you want to compete with Sout OG over here, you're gonna have to be able to make that jump. You're gonna have to be able to skip a little bit, get a great time. All right, Moisin. Conrad does have a bit of a changed look. He dyed his hair. It is nice. Joe, donate 1 sand every time you fell. How many times did I fall? That's not bad. That's only like a couple bucks. I'd do that. Question. In the Your ETH address form, which address do I put down? Yasinowski, first, let's talk about best practice because, we've seen some interest. Your ETH address form can be, and if you want to use it in the Sandbox game, should be the one that you have on your profile, sandbox.game. So if you're on the website here, I'm going to full screen this again. And you click on this, you click profile, my wallet, your wallet address, which is this one up here in the top right next to my little Twitter logo. Copy that. That should be the one you use. That way you can see it inside your inventory when you come into here and you're checking it out. Otherwise, you could also, as a bit of best practice, never submit a wallet that is your main wallet on any random form. Just don't do it. That way you don't get random spam. You don't get random things sent to you. You could use what's called a hot wallet for that, because it doesn't really matter if you put only on the Alpha Pass will it matter. But on Conrad's form, on the one for the Wizzy hat, I recommend you do this. But a hot wallet refers to a wallet that you use for any transaction that you're like, I'm not really sure about this, right? It's a wallet that you could literally just throw away because it has no money in it, and it doesn't matter if it's compromised. If you're ever entering for, like free giveaways or something like that, free mints, that kind of nonsense, then you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to have a hot wallet to do those sorts of things, because you never know what the smart contract says. And if you're not intently reading it, or you don't understand how to read it, then you could put yourself at a lot of risk in doing so. You know what I mean? Then you have your primary wallet, your cold wallet, which is your storage wallet. That's your real wallet where you have all your stuff and you never interact with smart contracts with it. You just send stuff from yourself to yourself that you know is safe. So those, that's a best practice method. But in terms of course, accessing the Sandbox game, if this is your first wallet, if you logged in with a social account or something like that, then you may not have that luxury, in the sense that the Alpha Pass must only be going to the address on your account, because that is how we're going to approve it / send it to you for the claim button that we're going to click, right? So for the interest of the Alpha Pass, just use the one that I talked about there. They can't use a .eth address for the Sandbox game because the Sandbox game is reading the wallet address for the distribution on that pass. Like, again, your claim button click. You could use it for me because OpenSea.io is compatible with that, and that's how we send out like the Wizzy themed NFTs. That would be fine. All right, Dark EN says, question: the top 10 players use a bug that almost no one knows about, but did they share bugs with the Sandbox developers? We can actually see how a user completes certain functions in a I'm going to say a high level way, seeing like interactions with different zones and different triggers on the map, because there's quite a lot of objects that are in the map or in many of these maps that like will have event triggers on them that you can't even see. Like, I walked past this thing and as a result this quest opened and things like that. So what we usually can tell like what is going on there. But if there is a particular type of bug or exploit, we're waiting for specifically the end of the season. But many of those folks who are in the top 10, quite honestly, we have a really good working relationship with. Like, I'm going to mention like Lugic. There was a couple of weeks ago, like Lugic was like, talking about how they were unhappy with a certain thing, right? So they reached out to me. That, now we can have a discourse. There was another user who was like really well integrated. I think they were number one for at least a couple of days early on. And they came back, and it might even literally be this person right here on the screen, Kazoku. But they came back to me in a DM and they were like, okay, well, here's what I see and here's what I'm doing, right? Because people were accusing them of cheating for a long time. And so they were like, I got video, I'll show you exactly. And they measured their frame rate like on their screen to be sure that they're doing things in the most effective and efficient way. So, there's a lot going on there. All right. So Karthik, I want to note that Karthik has a good question here. So I was just going to answer it, but I should address this. And Dark is actually asking a similar question here. Some people turn off the internet to run the dialogue or to run in the dialogue. How would you track such people? Okay. So the tracking of that is the same as the timer, essentially. You can see when a person has network activity and like what their ping is in those functions as part of the backend stuff. So those sorts of external exploits are bannable offenses and are something that we can access and kind of stamp out. And I'm a little Philip, asking basically the same question. So we've got that answered all in one, all three. All right, we got one over here from Metasaurus Rex saying, will we be able to keep our 0-second times for the leaderboards? Well, that depends on the function of the 0-second time, Metasaurus Rex. If it is a time where you are intentionally exploitative, as using external tools such as a lag switch or something like that, then you may be banned for that function. However, if you are, let's say, maybe this do your best bear, Care Bear, was going to give me a quest that said, go pick up 5 pieces of armor. If they were going to give me that quest, what's up, Hodel Hill? And the armor was around the map. If I could pick up the armor first and then talk to this Care Bear, then that wouldn't be an exploit. That would be a developer decision on how they laid out the map. And so that's not a punishable thing, right? Because it's an in-game thing with in-game features. And so you would go, in best practice for you as an efficient speedrunner, you would go pick up all the armors first, and then you would come talk to do your best bear. Because then you would pick up the quest and finish the quest, and you would get 0.02 seconds, right? But if you're getting a flat out 0000, then there's clearly no server response time at all. And if that is the case, then that is exploitative, and that time may be reset, or you may be banned for those sorts of actions. So take care with the way that you play. Make sure that you're only using in-game tools to make the most efficient routes and methods. Right, Dark EN says, how will you distinguish them from those who used the bug during the release of 0.7.5? We may not have to. I'd say that's the most effective answer. They could be, again, using external tools is the rule that we have, right? Using external tools to make these functions possible is what can get you banned. So if you've got users reporting scores on 0.7.5, you can see on my screen, I think you can, no you can't, sorry. On your own screen at the top right, right above the mini-map over there, there is a version number. And so that release version gets reported in with your functions on the servers, right? And so I would say it's probably very likely that if there was a version of 0.75 circulating, that we will end up making it so that if you have that release client version, that you won't be able to play at all. However, when you load the game right now, just turning on 0.7.5, like you saw on my screen, it was like, hey, there's an update, download this update. So we could modify that to either force the update, or we could modify it so that that version doesn't work at all. It just, of course, it's going to take a little bit more work, but that is the nature of the alpha, right? It's going to be, alpha software is always going to be updating, iterating, and adjusting. So you may see that adjustment here in the future. All right. How many alpha passes will be distributed at the end of the season? I'm waiting since season 1 to get it. Sarman Kendi over on twitch.tv asks this question, and the answer is we have a total of 10,000 alpha passes in the season. So during the duration of all of the raffles and the entries over the 10-week period, there'll be an average of about 500 per week that are released to get up to the raffle. And then on raffle day, there was 5,000 planned. However, as part of that as well, the 5,000 may be other contests and competitions that I'm not in charge of. You know what I mean? Like maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, this isn't confirmed or possibly happening. It's just a good example. Maybe we do a CoinMarketCap partnership or something like that. You know what I mean? Just one of those partners, maybe one of those things where we go like, we're going to do that. And so you have an additional option or something. They all come out of the same pool. Ultimately, as I mentioned, because it all comes back to the same source, but 10,000 would be total distributed at the end of the season. So this allows for, people like myself, to do the giveaways that we do on this show. We have those as part of that first 5,000 pool, and then the last 5,000 at the last day, after you've all earned all your tickets and that sort of thing. Now, keep in mind, Sarman Kendi, it's not 10,000 on the last day. It's 10,000 total. Okay. So if it's 500 per week, we would give away 5,000 until we got to that day. And then we would give away another 5,000 on raffle day. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Question, map, Walking Dead, event quests. I did under a few seconds all the quests. I noticed today my timing is like 2 to 3 minutes for every single quest. Is this a bug? I don't think so. But if you did, that's interesting. There's at least 1 or 2 quests that you can't do in under a few seconds. But I understand many of them can be done in like 9 seconds. Are you sure that's not your total time? And then Potplucker13 asking over on twitch.tv, any talk of when testing will be close enough to have a grand opening? Can you be a little more specific on that? Are you talking about like, it's because currently our development, I'll just talk as I kind of, I'm waiting for, our development is active work, right? Meaning that you will see a finished client in the future. You're not going to see new features get added. Let's talk about what we don't have right now. We don't have the ability to host a concert or custom audio. We want to do that. We don't have the ability to inject video. We want to do that. We don't have the ability to have active multiplayer interaction, right? Like myself and Hodel Hill getting into a first-person shooter standoff, 1v1 me, Hodel Hill, in the metaverse. We don't have the ability to cooperatively build inside the game maker. We want to do that. But there's all sorts of different features that need to be released. Ranged attacks, right? Something rudimentary and simple. Currently, those experiences like what you see in Clear, which if you haven't already played Clear, great experience. Go check it out. Excuse me. That sort of ranged attack, that FPS that they did it in an interesting way where they designed the gun in VoxEdit where the bullet itself is actually an extension of the gun. So the bullet just stretches out of the gun and comes back to the gun. So it reaches out and hits them for an attack action. So that, a proper FPS or something like that is going to have something kind of similar to that, but not really, where the bullet is itself its own object that can go out and reach you instead of being connected to the origination point forever. So we want to make sure that those sorts of things are updated, added, included as we continue. All right. Somebody's saying the jump nerf is too much. G. Augusto. The jump nerf is part of just a quick fix, essentially, to make sure that those huge lag spikes that some people were experiencing, they don't have anymore, right? And that's part of the change from our ability to walk up individual voxels or small tiled surfaces, what have you, just like this torch here. I was able to step up on it just by walking. So that was a version 0.7.0 update that we made. And then when we updated to version 7.4, 7.5, that range, some users were experiencing hitching and glitching due to some tweaks we were making to, from what I can tell, our mechanics of the walking, right? So, we just rolled it back. That's all. We rolled it back for now. We'll continue to work on it the way that we intended to work on it, and then be able to release it later without having the hitching and glitching. Joe, you got raided. Who raided me? Who did that? What's up? How's it going, Sandman? All right, make sure you stick around in an experience to confirm that your time is updated before closing or reloading it, Hodel Hill says. Oh, what's up? What do we got going on here? Who's this? Who's this? Hi. I don't know if chat can hear you. Chat, can you hear this person? Can you hear this person? I actually don't think they can. I'll see. Oh, very good. Oh, good. Awesome. Okay, so the word in my head is, as PandaPops has just joined me live here, and I actually got a DM about this from a user who said thank you, so I can confirm that. PandaPops says, chat, that if you have recently won an Alpha Pass, you may be seeing that Alpha Pass in your claims section on the website at sandbox.game right now. There is a bit of a backlog, as of course we have a few weeks worth of passes to distribute from various sources. So if it's not in there immediately, don't stress. Once again, they will be distributed very shortly. All right, let's see here. Ice Pilot saying, what map we on? We're hanging out on the Rusty Cliff map right there. And Tailbar saying, I did get my hat from Alex Florez, who is not in our chat right now, but I'll let him know. All right, let me see here. Jaco 006 saying the most annoying thing about the jump changes is when it randomly fails to jump, even when you press the jump key. Roughly 1 in 1, I assume they meant 1 in 10, jumps will not trigger if jumping in quick succession. Absolutely devastating for parkour. You know what? I've kind of noticed some of that. I would agree with that, JKOH. And PandaPops saying they're fixing that right now. And then Proto Kyle confirming my pass just went out in the last hour or two. Very excited about it. Is the jump nerf getting fixed? G. Augusto, yes. So we wanted to make sure that we took priority on fixing any like hitching or significant lag spikes for some users. They were reporting that. Quite a few, honestly, were reporting that. Interestingly, and as a point to like why that even got to release, I didn't have that experience at all on my system. Whereas while I was actively playing with PandaPops, like while we were doing the stream with deadmau5, last week, Panda was having the hitching and lagging on stream. You guys could see it. Whereas like I was playing and literally not a single issue, no problems whatsoever. So sometimes that's, little things like that are going to happen and we're going to get them solved, and yeah. Nope. Oh, hey. How's it going? How you doing? I fell to my doom. My doom. Doom. All right. Yeah, I couldn't get the quest this time, Pot Plucker, because I didn't restart the experience here. All right. Donnie Yen TPM saying, question, you've just mentioned a possible CoinMarketCap partnership. Is there anything similar going on with Reddit? Would love to use my Reddit NFT avatar in the sandbox. I don't know about that and can't, quite honestly, regardless of what the question is about partner deals, it's inappropriate for me to answer those on this stream unless they've been announced on medium.com, where we, sandboxgame.medium.com. You'll be able to see all of our official announcements. Of course, we'll put them out on Twitter as well. But for the most part, I wouldn't be able to answer speculation on who might be partners or not because they're going to have certain plans for marketability. I'm going to have, as the Sandbox, separate plans for marketability and different release times or the same release time. Maybe we're all waiting for just an invisible day. Let's say today at noon my time. You never know. So the only reason why I brought up CoinMarketCap specifically was because we have had partner deals with them before and you can see them on the map currently. So I would imagine that if we were going to have a deal with like somebody like a Reddit or something, that they would get their own lands as part of a land sale. And usually we are going to wait for that announcement until we announce a land sale. But again, can't comment on speculation for what partners. All right, let's see here. One Box T saying the lag spikes are from someone using macros on the same instance. More specific, X plus space. This is what I found out from testing with my bugs testing account that you use with non-KYC and have 0 ethos points. So yeah, I think you got I really appreciate that feedback, One Box T. It'd be interesting to see how that, because I know that. So you're saying that's with anybody, and again, I'm kind of speaking blindly here because I didn't experience these issues at all on any experience that I ever loaded. But I have a very high quality internet connection, gig up, gig down. So that may be alleviating these issues on my side. All right, let's see here. I have a problem. When I try to download VoxEdit from the Sandbox site, I have information on my computer that there is a critical error. Trojan downloaded Java Open Connection.pm. What should I do to start creating an NFT voxel? Repros W. I'll tell you why that happens. The reason why that happens is because the VoxEdit asset software connects and associates and affiliates with the website at sandbox.game directly with a perpetual open connection. It is an unknown source for one, and then secondly, the open connection is what that means. This allows you to upload to the marketplace, but it also similarly to how the website is constantly updating on the map itself. The VoxEdit software is constantly having a very low speed ping connection to maintain that you are your account and your wallet. So that's why that comes up. When we become more well known as like a valid, real existing thing, if that makes sense in terms of like the Microsoft mindset, then that may not be the case anymore. They may report it accurately. But you know, I had the same error when I first installed VoxEdit. I haven't had it in any subsequent updates ever. And I think, yeah, I think it's, I mean, I know that it's fine because I've got it. I do it. Yeah. We're a multi-billion-dollar company that's definitely not interested in doing some weird nonsense. You know what I mean? All right. Just make sure that you're downloading it at sandbox.game. Just want to be clear about that. Make sure that you're not downloading from a weird source. You get a tricky job, says PopPlucker13, being public facing and knowing information that might be of use to investors prior to public release. That's the thing, yeah. Like, I mean, to not, like, whenever I mean, even just as me personally, right? I make sure that any investment I make, you know, if it's an NFT, if it's crypto, if it's whatever, generally I just tell the whole world, like, hey, check it out. I bought this recently. It's never financial advice. And quite honestly, you know the stories, PopPlucker. You've been here long enough. You've seen me get busted. Okay, I got to block a user on YouTube. First I'm going to put him in timeout. Go to timeout, YouTube user, with your inappropriate stuff. Can't believe. You know, I told you this story before, but I'm going to tell it for the new users. Don't follow any one person because they're not an expert in any one function. You know what I mean? Once upon a time I had 330,000 shares of sand. You can do the math on that. It was over $8 at a certain point during the crazy hypest period of the ETH bull run more recently. You know, but I didn't have them. I sold them out at 10 cents because I bought them at 3. Made a lot of money relative to the buy order, but not, you know, hindsight's 2020, right? So I try to be clear with the way that I manage any sort of investment, because yeah, it's weird to kind of be in that space but then also one really interesting thing is you also get blind to these things, right? Like Snoop Dogg makes the announcement, Snoop Dogg's coming to the metaverse, and I'm like, yes, that's really cool. Really like that, right? That's after already having Square Enix and Atari as like the sources that launched us. And then, you know, you get Ubisoft and you get Warner Media Group coming in, or Warner Music Group rather, coming in, and you've got all these different sources and Aoki's and the Hell's Kitchen, right? Like, which I love watching Hell's Kitchen, and I'm like, oh, they're a partner. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, that's cool. Like, that's cool. We're partners. Like, so like, I don't, yeah, it doesn't really affect much, right? When you get into like the larger scope of things, I don't think that these announcements necessarily affect you too much mentally. But when you were originally, like, if you first jump in and you're like looking at this from a wider perspective, you're like, oh, that's a good investment. And so that's why now at this point, when people ask me if I see the future of the sandbox as like a success, it's just an obvious yes to me, right? Because you've got the sandbox itself. I wanted to invest in when we were at that 3 cents, 8 cents, 10 cents, whatever, and stayed in our space and did this stuff and built here. And like, obviously I work here now, right? So now with all of these other like pins in the paper to keep it attached to the wall or whatever, like the sandbox game is as secure as it can be because we're getting more and more partnerships and better deals and better technology and better software. And going to NFT NYC, you see that. I had a lady stop and she was like, who are you, right? And I was like, oh, my name is Joe. And Alex was standing next to me and he's like, yeah, we work for the sandbox. And Alex starts explaining what the sandbox is, and the lady was like, stop, everybody here knows who you are. And I'm like, okay. So, now I look at the sandbox as the platform to invest in, and the sandbox is the thing to get hype about. Just, we'll have these alphas and the product's just going to keep getting better and bigger, All right, let me see here. One bot XT says, will you guys make KYC mandatory for the limited time event so we don't get a rush of fake KYCs in the end, messing the leaderboard and prizes? Any thoughts? All prizes, rewards, allocations, any sort of reward, period, must have KYC in order to win. So anybody who, like, let's say you were trying to make 1 billion accounts to go do these limited time events and get some kind of reward, you can't get the reward without the KYC. So they're just wasting their time. All right, let's see here. Play Game for Fun saying, I'm looking for a tool to record on an old Samsung to warn people how I lost passes and other assets and what to do to protect yourself. Play Game for Fun. If you are referring to a mobile phone, Samsung makes a lot of products. Samsung has a software called DeX, D-E-X, that you can use. It's free. Just plug in your phone to your computer. Not all Samsungs have this, however, but check it, see if you have that. And then your phone will be on your screen, on your computer screen. You can record your computer screen quite a bit easier. WinG will allow you to record your Windows computer screen. Otherwise, there is also like a quick share function, I think, that maybe you can send it to a screen, and then you can record it with another device, something like that. There's lots of different stuff. All right, let's see here. Please help me to fix the Pororo level bug. I can't jump on the green cube. My Sukadad over on YouTube. There has been an update to the Sandbox game client, which changes jumping slightly. So I'm going to show you what that means. It might be hard to see, but try to watch here as I run off this cliff. I'm going to go, like, I'm almost in the air as I jump. Here, let me see that. Hopefully it was quite clear there. Yeah, that one should have made it easy to see. So if you're having issues where you can't make a particular jump, then try to do that. Also, if you're having an issue where you can't make a jump vertically, right? It's too tall, then give the distance, like, as I don't know if I can show this here as I run left to right, but as you jump, you'll notice there's a high point in the middle of the jump. And your character's feet are interacting with any collision boxes as you go. So make sure that you leave the space for that jump where you need to. If you're having issues jumping vertically, only the highest point of the jump. And then you'll climb up that block as you hit it and interact with it. All right, PopPlucker13 saying, what is the issue with withdrawal of land out of Polygon? Okay, so the issue is not necessarily significant or anything like that. It's purely that just last week, there on September 14th/15th, there was a significant upgrade to the Ethereum blockchain, taking it from proof of work to proof of stake. Some people might disagree with me that it was an upgrade, but I think most people would agree for the future of Ethereum. It makes it more scalable. It makes it more energy efficient. It all sorts of different things, right? With that update, every company that uses the Ethereum chain as a central, reference point, whatever, a blockchain. Sorry, my brain kind of did a little thing there. We stopped activity on our smart contracts until we could manually re-audit those. We want to make sure that the transfers, the whatever that we're doing are going to continue to operate like they did before the update, and then turn them back on, essentially. That way you don't send your land from Polygon to ETH main network, and then for some reason it just went poof, right? You don't want that. We don't want that. So yeah, that was the hold on the withdrawal. Once those things are re-audited, then they would re-enable withdrawal there. All right, let's see here. Okay, Cyberloop saying, for example, Maya Water Park, you can't complete the last stage in this experience because you can't jump higher. That's interesting because I was testing on this version when I was playing in Maya Water Park. It was definitely harder, and I would agree that it should be made easier. But I was able to complete it previously. But again, that might change. I haven't played Maya Water Park in 0.7.6. And if as soon as I turn off this stream, quite frankly, part of my job is doing quality assurance on these sorts of features with the current version of the client. So if we're going back and we're playing those games and we're finding difficulty with that, then the feedback we're going to give is make the jump higher. And somebody, of course, is going to twiddle a knob and make the jump higher on 0.7.7, and be able to release that hotfix in the near future. Potplucker13 saying, so migration in-game from ETH to Polygon is fine, no issues, and recommended. Haven't seen any issues. Seems to be working fine. However, I haven't personally tested it. I haven't seen complaints, but I haven't personally tested it. I would eventually recommend that you move it to Polygon. However, purely on the basis that if you want to mint experiences to your lands so that people can play inside your land, do the games, the museums, the concerts, the whatever you're going to do, then you'll want to have it on Polygon. You're going to save a ton of money by having it there in terms of just flat cash. It's Ice Pilot's here to crouch on me again. It's just a couple of cents or less to mint on Polygon. And it's now exponentially energy efficient in that Polygon is going to reference back to the ETH chain after it's compiled a large group of transactions as they are a layer 2 chain. So it's going to be even better for, the ecology of things. All right, nobody missed the form. I'll make a couple of forms here as we're continuing to do a little AMA sesh. What do we got? This one. I'm going to make a copy of a form here so we can have an Alpha Pass giveaway here on this show. And then, gotta grab the keyboard. It's the 28th. Make a copy. And this time I'm going to remember to unlock it so that you guys can actually type in it. Make a copy. Responses are open. And copying the URL now. Paste. Here we go, chat. There is a forms.gle link that went out on YouTube but it didn't go out on Twitch, so I'm going to paste it again. There we go. There you go, Twitch. Forms.gle link that I just posted as the Sandbox game. If you fill out that link, you'll be eligible for an Alpha Season 3 pass. Only people who have KYC'd are eligible for this pass, so if you haven't already KYC'd on the website at sandbox.game, you'll want to do that now. Distribution on these passes can take a little bit of time, but that's okay. If you win, you win. You will get your pass. I had a user report that they won within the first week that I was giving away these passes. They reported to me earlier on Discord, hey, I got my pass. Thanks for doing that. So we're good to go here, chat. Just fill it out. Right now, we've only got 8 people who have responded to the form so far, but you'll need to make sure that you have all of those filled out accurately. The username on the website is sandbox.game, super helpful. Of course, the ETH address that is on your account, you want to do that as well. You can see that by clicking your profile in the top right, your profile image, and click profile. This is the ETH address that's associated with your account. You want to copy that just in case you're one of the rare users that accidentally logs in with the social media account but thinks that they're logging in with their MetaMask or something like that. All right. Lentora saying, rightfully so, over on twitch.tv, all 30 to 40 days of our effort went to waste thanks to the dialogue bug. We as a community will leave the sandbox if there is no solution. It is impossible to enter the leaderboard without using this bug. So Lentora, I'm going to refer you to a couple of things that we've been talking about, and we talked about a whole bunch over the last couple of days. First is that those people who exploited external softwares or services to invalidate, times may be banned. Just to be clear. Secondly, they may not be. Just to be clear. What does that mean? Well, we are in alpha development of all of our softwares, all of our features, and all of our services, meaning that the software is taking your feedback, making adjustments, making changes, making updates, and adding new features constantly, consistently. So far in this alpha, we've seen 7 different core iterations, 6 core iterations by version number to the software, where we've released a client version and, you guys have said, well, I do or I don't like this, right? Like right now, there are people in the chat who are talking and they're saying the jump right now, the jump sucks. We don't like the jump, right? Because the jump is a little too shallow, right? You jump, you're not going up as high as you used to. Now, the last version, of course, we released that, which would have fixed that sort of jump issue. But when we released it, there was an issue where it was a little bit hitchy, right? And that's the nature of alpha software, that it's always going to be updating, iterating, changing, and improving over time. You can, if you refer back to previous versions of the Sandbox game, we're a lot more feature filled. We've added optimizations that have decreased general user lag, like frames per second lag, in this version, 0.7 point something. So now certain assets at certain distances don't load, right? So the things that you don't see don't load or load at a lower fidelity. And this is really good to help decrease lag for you as a player. Now, this bug, this dialogue bug, right? This one function or feature is an issue, and we recognize it as an issue. But let's look at the whole of the leaderboard pool, right? 1.5 million sand is a lot. It's a lot of sand relative to, a lot of people's wallets. I certainly don't have 1.5 million sand. So as we do this particular alpha with this leaderboard, and we have the 1.5 million sand allocated to the leaderboard, we've got, what is it? Math. 5 million sand allocated to the alpha pass giveaways, if I'm doing that math right off the top of my head. We've got, another large pool allocated to land guaranteed earners. We've got avatar guaranteed earners, and we've got NFT asset holder guaranteed earners as well, right? So the leaderboard is actually a small portion relative to even just this alpha, and of the 3 billion total sand tokens that will ever be distributed, it is a very small portion of that. And it is a test portion, right? So this leaderboard is in active development, is in actively being tested. So when we use this, we can also look at it as sort of like a marketing mechanic. We could look at it as a, thank you for testing with us mechanic, all sorts of different things, right? That you could look at that as. As an individual user, of course, we all want to earn. But essentially, this is like what was in Alpha Season 2, but a little different. In Alpha Season 2, anybody who got 100% of all the quests completed got a reward of some time, and we decided this very late in the experience, basically in a meeting, just going like, we should thank these people for doing that. And that's pretty much been the case here in this alpha, that anybody who has gotten all the quests done, generally speaking, is getting about 10,000 or less in the rank, like closer to first place in that leaderboard, right? And so you're getting a sort of guaranteed reward as a thank you for doing all the quests. And along the way, when you find issues, when you find glitches, when you find problems, you're reporting them. In just like this conversation right here, you're reporting it in one way or another. And we're able to take that feedback and make adjustments, make changes, and make the product better over the subsequent months and weeks and days, going forward in the Sandbox game. So absolutely, I definitely understand 30 to 40 days, being a thing. Now, that said, I recommend that people, don't, quite frankly, put in 40 hours a week playing this game just to possibly get on the leaderboards, unless you understand that, this is an alpha. This is an actively developed software, and that things might go wrong, right? Understand the potential for that, because yeah, $30,000 or whatever it may be now, 30,000 sand reward is great, right? Over a 3-month period that we release it, that's great too. But only one person is going to win that, and your health is more important. You know what I mean? Like, you're more important than 30,000 sand. So if you can understand that there may be hitches, glitches, issues that we're going to build, iterate, work on, fix, improve, thanks to you being here, then we'll give you that thank you, as part of that leaderboard and all these other different ways that we're doing it. In the meantime, there are other ways that you can earn. You can, of course, download VoxEdit asset creation software. This is the art that we use to create the grass you see on the screen. Hodel Hill's avatar right there. Ice Pilot's avatar. Kaizoku's avatar on the screen. All created with the VoxEdit asset creation software. The dances that they are doing. Sitting pose right there. Created with that software. You can download that right now and start entering into asset creation contests. And Ice Pilot is showing you the sitting animation that was made in VoxEdit. But those asset creation contests can earn you sand in a much more tangible and I think realistic way, quite frankly, because you're not competing with millions of people or tens of thousands of people. You're competing with, a smaller handful, 100 or so, usually in any one contest, maybe 200. And you're getting skills that are tangible and usable because this alpha is small relative to the size of the metaverse. Just the Sandbox Game Metaverse. You can see the alpha land is that square right there. This is the whole alpha. All of these experiences, all this time, that you're talking about, that you're playing in, there will be a demand, and there already is a demand. There will be a constantly growing demand for new VoxEdit asset creators. There'll be a constantly growing demand for new game maker, developers. And that demand is going to be used by people like Game5 Ventures and Warner Music and The Walking Dead and Guildfi, the Shaun the Sheeps of the world. They're going to need artists. They're going to need game makers. And those are real and tangible jobs that are consistent, that already exist and are continuing to grow. I mean, this aliens space over here, mydoge.com right here, or maybe they bought it from mydoge.com. I don't know. But this one that says aliens is as large as this entire alpha. And these 1x1s take 3 months, 6 months to develop, depending on what they do in them. The 1x1s do. And this one's got 512 or 576, forgive me. 576 1x1s to develop in. And they're going to need help. So go check that out. I would say if you're getting overwhelmed, if you're getting stressed out, maybe you're putting, I would say you're putting too much stock probably into the alpha. And some people aren't going to like when I say that, but that's a Joe statement, because I think that, I see the creators, I see the gamers, I see the work that you guys are putting in. I definitely appreciate the work that you put in, and the feedback is huge. And the future of the sandbox is great because you guys are giving this feedback and you're playing in these alphas. So I appreciate you all being here for that. And now I've got some drawings to pull. All right. At the one contest had 403 responses. And it looks like we've got a good number of users in here this morning. So thank you for being here. I'm going to send out a second form here. Let me copy this form. The second form is for a Wizzy-themed NFT, and that Wizzy-themed NFT can be worn inside any combat-based experience in the Sandbox Metaverse. This asset was created by the creator of the Smurfs assets that we have here. The Wizzy itself, which was a wizard NPC that was created live on a show like this one on a Saturday, is one of the most popular assets and asset groups in the Sandbox game today, because we just give it to you as a little story of love for you guys. So, all right. So I've got that sent out. Another note about this particular Wizzy form is you do not have to be KYC for the Wizzy form, as that goes from Alex Florez to you directly, and not the Sandbox game giveaway. This is just something that we add into these shows as a special thanks. So let me roll on that form here. Oh, I already have my RNG up. I almost typed it again. Look at that. All right, and I rolled a number 61 on the form out of 403. So number 61 is over on youtube.com. Answering the question, which experience are you liking most in Alpha Season 3? They said The Walking Dead. This is El Toro on YouTube. Congratulations. You've won yourself an Alpha Season 3 pass, and that means for you when you click the play button. Soon, you'll be able to claim to reward in your claim section, but you can click on the rewards tab if you guys want to know what this Alpha Season 3 pass unlocks. The rewards tab here, if you've completed level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you'll fill up. You'll win yourself all of these raffle rewards on the lower platform, meaning a total of 500 sand in rewards will be allocated to you, including that 100% community booster. So 500 sand and the limited NFT. Those people who held on to your Alpha Season 1 and your Alpha Season 2 passes will notice that in the tickets section, you have some additional tickets that are increasing your chances of winning in the Sandbox game raffle. This Alpha Season 1 pass and Alpha Season 2 pass that I have each give me 210 tickets apiece. And then memorabilia, if you don't have a pass and you've played in these experiences and you've gotten to level 5, you're earning a memorabilia, which is an account level, not an NFT, but it's associated with your account, that says, I was there, and you get additional tickets for that as well. You'll notice I did not participate in one of the memorabilias, the Belonging Week memorabilia, because I didn't realize I was going to get a memorabilia, quite frankly, and I didn't want to participate in the contest and take away from all the other users. You know, I'm seeing them and I'm like talking about them all the time. But all right, let's see here. Beautiful. All right. Got 200 responses to the form right now. And I'm running a little bit overtime here, chat. So I think I'm going to close it down in, we'll give it like 30 seconds and see if we have any other sort of questions here. Protocol6 says, I was there for Season 1 and I don't have that credit for it. So Protocol, the interesting thing about that particular credit is, from my recollection of Season 1, we didn't have a clear like level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we did, we definitely didn't say something about memorabilia. So I know you had to be level 5 or have an equivalent amount of quest points in order to get that memorabilia. And it was issued retroactively. So if you have proof that you did complete level 5 in Alpha Season 1, maybe you have a VOD, you know, something like that, you put it up on YouTube or something, then you could send it in over on Discord and you should be able to get that memorabilia allocated to you. Grind Junkies says, so was the winner of the Alpha Pass you just said from the form we had just filled out. It was from the first form, which I put out about 10 minutes ago, Grind Junkies. The second form I haven't drawn yet. But I'm going to go ahead and close that now with 263 responses. I'm going to wait and see. Sometimes when I click the stop button, a couple more get to come in. Okay. All right, 263 responses. So 1 through 263, and I'm going to click generate. And user number 240 is the winner of the Wizzy themed NFT. So let me see if I can go over to the individual. And 240, this one. Which experience are you liking the most in Alpha Season 3? They answered Dead Mouse. And once again, YouTube lucky today. Username Hater Magnet Crypto. That's one word. You are the winner of the Wizzy themed NFT, and I recognize that name. So congratulations. Thanks for hanging out with me these many, many weeks. I've seen you around for a long time. All right. Protocol 6 saying Season 1 was very gated by the Season 1 pass. That's fair. That's fair. I forgot about that off the top of my head. You're right. It's very unlikely that you would have the memorabilia without having the Season 1 pass in that season. That's probably why. Does feedback for Season 2 show like memorabilia? Play game for fun. It is a line item. You can see it on my screen there. Season 2 feedback form. Answering the Alpha Season 2 feedback form. I'm pretty sure this is the one on the website at sandbox.game. I didn't try to get these additional tickets, but I think I filled out a form there. I might have only done it in emails. I don't really remember. But that was if you were logged in when you filled out that form. All right, Nils2050 saying one more Alpha Pass giveaway, please. Nils, I have good news for you. Good news and bad news. I'm not going to do it on this stream, but Alex Florez is going to be streaming live on this channel in just about 3 hours and 20 minutes. So, obviously, I recognize your name. I know you're going to be hanging out. You're going to be coming back. But there's going to be more Alpha Pass giveaways in just a little while. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow with more. Tomorrow is also Thursday, my friends, and that is our weekly wrap-up show right here on this channel as well. There's going to be lots of streaming coming up here on this channel, hanging out with Alex Florez. Lucas is right, coming up soon. And then once again tomorrow with PandaPops, with myself, with Alex. Maybe Lucas is there. Maybe Conrad's there. I have no idea. People are all over the place. We're enjoying life here, hanging out with the Sandbox Game chat. It's been my pleasure to hang out with you. And we'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's play it out a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's play it out. We'll see you soon, guys. Wait, should I raid? Wait, hold up. Should I raid? You want me to raid somebody over on twitch.tv, don't you, chat? Who's playing this game right now? Who's playing live for us over on twitch.tv? I'm going to go raid somebody. So as I go into this intermission screen, if you're watching over on youtube.com, come over to twitch.tv/thesandboxgame. If you're watching on Twitter, DLive, Theta, Facebook, join us. And then we're going to go raid somebody. I try to prefer people who have never been raided before and people who have the lowest viewer count, so we can really blow their minds. And most often this has been people, or not most often, but very often this has been people who've said, this is the first time I'm ever streaming. And now you have partner level stream like people in the chat, you know what I mean? So let's blow them up. Let's have some fun with some people in the Sand Fam here. Let me get us in this intermission screen. I'm going to start the music up and I'm going to go find somebody over on twitch.tv, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out.